good afternoon, investors and corporate. Welcome to SET Digital Roadshow First Quarter 2023 Performance Review. This section will run about 45 minutes, including Q&A. Company will start the section by 30-minute presentation, followed by 15-minute Q&A. And during Q&A, investors may leave your question in meeting room chat box or use raise your hand function. We will open your microphone so you can ask the questions to the company directly. So may I now invite NIRVANA Development Public Company Limited to start the presentation, please.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. NIRVANA is back to report, actually maybe to update, I guess. We talked about the first quarter results about maybe a month or two ago. This is our regular digital roadshow that we provide updates for those who may not be in Bangkok. Okay, let me put up the slides. Okay, the slide, hopefully the slideshow comes up properly. Okay, I guess what happened in the first quarter was that we began to roll out our business plan. We launched one project out of total 9 new projects that we planned for the year. The response was quite well received. The result, the performance seems to be picking up the momentum, especially when you compare to the prior quarter, which reflected in the financial statements. The outlook, we still moving on our business plan for the year. We still have 8 more new projects to launch with the firm backlogs in our pockets. And other than that, I'll just go into the detail. This is basically a recap of what we have communicated widely, publicly, that this year will be a year that we would reap benefit from our asset base. After 2 or 3 years of hibernation, I would say, we did a couple of things. Fundamentally, we did a big restructuring in 2021 in terms of balance sheet management, also in terms of shareholding structure as well. And during 2022, which we were still slowed down by the pandemic, we did a couple of reform, acquired a few pieces of new land, raw material, as well as the product development. I think if you follow us closely, you might have seen some brand new product, which we will prepare to show in this presentation as well. So for reaping the value forward means 9 projects earmarked for this year, about 21 billion baht in project values, combined project values. Some new products coming in, particularly the very top end NIRVANA collection and NIRVANA Absolute, and a return of NIRVANA at Work home office product, which we haven't launched new project for a while already. There would be launch of 2 high-rise condominium as well. I will go into detail maybe toward the end of the presentation. And lastly, NIRVANA Porsche Lifestyle Mall. That would be a retail, commercial retail space to basically fulfill the township development that we have planned for Group Greater. Okay, a recap of 9 projects, 21 billion baht. We plan to launch 3 single detached house projects. NIRVANA Collection, NIRVANA Absolute, NIRVANA Absolute in 2 locations, Krungthep Rita and Ekamai Ramintra. 1 townhouse project, NIRVANA Define, is a new and improved product that respond more to the change in behavior post the pandemic. Condominium, as I mentioned, 2 high-rise, 1 in Ratana Tibet area and 1 in the center of Bangkok CBD. And home office, there would be about 2 or 3 projects coming up this year. In the first quarter, we launched our NIRVANA Absolute in the second location of this series. If you remember, I think in the second half of last year, we launched NIRVANA Absolute in Bang Na, but this one is in Ekamai Ramintra. It's not a very big project, but the product itself fits in this area very, very well. The response was quite encouraging. Although the number doesn't seem so big, but the pace of sales, basically we about over 40% sold in the first quarter during the launch, the first weekend actually at the launch. So it's a brand new series of single houses that if you notice that the second story has an outdoor area with green trees and double volume all the way up to the 3rd floor with some concrete blocks that give you some sort of privacy rather than normal veranda or a balcony. So this is what we put out into the market. This is the other view of it, looking out from the inside of the house. You can see that you can actually use the outdoor space with the privacy that you might need. And indoor, there would be some I guess if you are Japanese based, this would be a dining table. But for us here in Thailand, it could be used as a living area. It could be used for working from home area. You can imagine that when you do a conference call online, there would be no one walking in the back. So you get that professional look through your online teleconferencing. This is basically the some pictures of the launch date. So it was quite well received, as I mentioned, about almost 50% sold in one weekend. Operationally, as I mentioned, we launched only 1 to start off with during the first quarter. 3 projects coming up this quarter, and so we total active projects about 12 projects. The pre-sales from the beginning of during the first quarter is about 1 billion baht. Revenue was not that strong, but comparing to the prior quarter is a good sign, good recovery after sobering from the pandemic effect. To recap of those 12 active projects, as I mentioned, the total backlog combining with the carrying forward backlog from the end of the year plus the new pre-sales minus the transfer, we net at about almost 1.3 billion baht in terms of backlogs. The 12 projects combined estimate around 12.5 billion baht in available for sales. Out of the 1 billion baht pre-sales, you can see that the pre-sale pace is roughly around the same as the fourth quarter. As a small remark, that we had not launched new projects for the past, I would say, almost 9 quarters. During the pandemic, we lay low. We adjust more fundamentals, and so that we could survive and stay afloat. So we were forced to sell whatever left in the portfolio, and basically those old projects that are running in the background. But we started to launch new projects in fourth quarter 2022. That's how we achieved 1 billion baht, roughly pre-sales a quarter, which is a good sign. That means customer base are still there. When we come back to the market, the response was quite well received. And as we continue to launch new projects in the past, in the next 3 quarters of this year, we expect the pace to pick up. In terms of revenue, I mean, if you look on the overall basis, you could see that it drops quite significant. But if you look more into detail, which is the gray area, the lighter shade and the darker shade, you could see that especially the darker shade is the sales of real estates, meaning, you know, all those residential units that we transferred in the past quarter and the quarter in the prior year. You could see that the momentum has picking up. A small remark, in the first quarter 2022, there was about 634 million baht in terms of revenue. That was part of our, I would say, last activities in terms of balance sheet reform that we have been talking about. We sell some piece of land bank, high potential land bank, to diversify into other area, as well as penetrating into new market, which we were not able to penetrate before. So that's something that we have talked over for many times already. So I might not cover that in detail. Financial results is basically, I kind of summarized that already, but maybe I'll pick a few points here that I talked about it. The top line we talked about, the revenue from construction contracts. I guess I'll expand on this a little bit. This line is basically coming from construction, home construction service, because the way we sell the house, part of our projects are built to order. So customer buy houses into contract, land purchase, as well as the home building construction contract. So this line is basically the revenue that comes in from constructions of those built to order units. They come in installments. In the past, this line was also revenue coming from our OEM service that we provide to other developer. We go and build houses for using our precast capabilities that we acquired through Dai Group. We use that capacity to help prop up revenue on the construction service as well. But the thing that has changed for this year is that with the 9 new projects that we are launching, we need all those capacity to do it ourselves internally. So that's why if you compare to the first quarter last year, you could see a drop because all the revenue from this line is basically from our own build-to-order units or what we call turnkey solution projects, which are all build-to-order houses. The gross margin comes back to the more or less normal level, 34%, mid-30s. As opposed to the first quarter last year was normally high because of that land transaction, as I mentioned earlier. Distribution costs basically in line with the revenue, but maybe slightly more because we doing some more marketing activities for the new projects that we are launching. Other than that, maybe financial costs, it's a bit much lower than prior year. That's basically accounting effect. When we start developing the land, all those interest payment goes back to being recognized as cost, basically interest capitalization, as opposed to being recognized as interest expense. That's the only difference. We pay the same interest, different accounting treatment. In terms of assets, I guess asset base hasn't changed that much from last year, the end of last year. Maybe only one line that has changed was the short-term loan to others. That's basically is a result of our strategic move to basically decided to acquire the remaining 30% of NIRVANA River, which is the asset holder for Banyan Tree Residences Riverside. So we become 100% owned of that project, which is also reflected here in the liability and the equity side as well. I'll expand a little bit more on that, I guess. 70%, the additional 30% that we acquired, the reason why I call it strategic was that it was a mutual agreement with the partner that he wanted to exit, while we want maybe a little bit more free-handed to manage the last I would say 25 to 30% of the Banyan Tree Residences inventory. So this acquisition has some effect, obviously, on the asset side as well as on the equity side. And the reduction in the non-controlling interest, that's what I'm referring to, 341 million baht. That minority interest was eliminated because of the fact that we own 100% of NIRVANA River. That's basically it. And the liabilities, I guess, in total numbers, not much change, but in terms of mix of the debt portfolio, we got two new debenture bond, 950 million baht, 465 bearing about 6.4% coupon rate due in 2024, and the other 485 million baht, 6.7% coupon rate due in 2025. So that brings our net interest-bearing debt to equity up a little bit to 1.3. As we mentioned all along, I guess 1.1 was maybe a bit too low for a real estate company that we are not leveraging enough. This is climbing back up a little bit. In terms of outlook, the blue circles are the new project that we plan to launch. we launched two, which I'll cover in pictures in subsequent slide. And this month, there would be another new project, which is the high rise in Ratana, Tibet, namely the most condominium. I guess the second condominium under this brand. Basically, it's reaching down a little bit further into the market that we were not addressing before. Let's take back a little bit. The first two landed residential that we launched was NIRVANA Define in Gurungthep Rita. It's actually the second project in Gurungthep Rita area. We launched the first NIRVANA Define project in Gurungthep Rita area, I think in 2018, with about 170 plus units. We are now down to the last, I think under 20 units now. So we want to keep this project, I want to keep this product in that area. So we acquired a smaller plot of land and built a new NIRVANA Define in Gurungthep Rita area to continue that product mix in Gurungthep Rita, which is our direction of doing the township development in that area. NIRVANA Absolute Gurungthep Rita was also launched, I think last month. As I mentioned, now we have 3 locations of NIRVANA Absolute. If you are a fan of NIRVANA Beyond, you could kind of relate very closely to this new product. Basically, it's the same DNA of NIRVANA Beyond, but maybe a little bit less in terms of decorations, for the lack of better words. It's more simplified. It's more what you call it, less decoration, I guess. That's what I can think of right now. But functionalities and the space and the creativities in terms of design, wind flow, blah blah, is still there. So being less decorated, price point could be brought down so that we can have reach down further into the customer spectrum on the bottom side. NIRVANA Absolute Gurungthep Rita is a sizable project, about almost 2.4 billion baht in project value, 127 units. So it's the largest of the first 3 NIRVANA Absolute series. As you can see, the price range is about 11 to 20 million baht, as opposed to Beyond now is NIRVANA Beyond now is 25 to 40 plus million baht. So you can see the difference in the price range. This is just a picture of the launch day, and also NIRVANA Define, which I just talked about earlier. This is the new and improved series. Prior to this, we did not have a roof garden like this, but we realized that the pandemic have changed behavior somewhat, and even now, I think some companies still make it optional for employees or staff to work from home. So we create all these space that provide that kind of flexibilities. It's not just a rooftop that you cannot actually use, This one you can actually go out. You can have garden. You can do barbecue with your friends. You actually have a small air conditioned room on maybe one third of the floor plate on your rooftop, as you can see in the picture here. So it's a new and improved product that we put out. This is a look of the rooftop garden from the inside. This is the indoor air conditioned area which I was talking about. This is real picture, not a perspective. This is the launch date. You can see that the fan base coming back as we open, as we launch new project. Quite encouraging for us actually when we come back to the market and the customer base coming back to visit us. This one is actually the top end of the product spectrum. We originally planned to launch it within the second quarter, but I think right now I think the team might want to shift it out a little bit, maybe into the third quarter. But basically, it's the ultra luxury residences segment. 3-story houses. Let's see if I have a bit more. No. I guess the team doesn't want to steal the show before the product launch. Basically, it's a 3-story houses, but the size is about maybe double or triple of the NIRVANA Beyond. We're talking about 1,000 square meters of living space. So you have all the facilities, rooms that you might imagine in your own house. Spa room, living room, of course, bedroom, bar room, plenty of parking space, not only for your car, but also for your supercars. The price range for this would be about 80 to 150 million baht. This would be crown jewel of the NIRVANA Township Krungthep Rita. It's the very top end. We put out this as we believe that the very top end of the spectrum would be less impacted by any uncertainties in terms of economics development. We have been our strongholds in terms of target market is in this segment already. If you can relate NIRVANA Beyond, this is even higher. It's the ultra luxury segment as opposed to value luxury segment, which is I refer to NIRVANA Absolute. Those are for maybe more value of money. That's probably the word that I was looking for earlier. I guess we would get to see the real thing in the next 1 or 2 months. Okay. I think in the last part of June, there will be a launch for this, the most Ratanati bed. Again, this is I would say second high-rise condominium for NIRVANA. We are still very much landed residential developer, and we want to stay that way also. But to have a better mix of revenues and margins and customer base, we think that we should have some flavors of high-rise condominium as well as a mix. But our condominium is not like others developers. Not necessarily has to be next to the SkyTrain. We identify area that there's enough communities in that area. The most condominium was in Isarapap area. That one was chosen because of Siriraj Hospital. We think that medical personnel, including the students in that area, as well as the families of those who are hospitalized in the Siriraj Hospital, would need some sort of dwelling space in close enough to the hospital. So that's why we acquired that land. We put up a low-rise condominium, and we practically sold out already for that condominium. This one in Ratanatibet is a bit different. Not in the medical personnel, but more or less of the existing community surrounding the Ministry of Commerce in that area. It's quite populated. It's quite dense. But there's not much. I wouldn't say no, but there's not much high-rise residential available in that area. So we decided to utilize this land, which has been on our balance sheet for, I think, already about 5 or 6 years during the M&A acquisition with the Group. So we developing into what we call dual space condominium. You would have the sense of 2 stories living in a maybe about 80 to 90 square meters living space. There'll be a loft that you can put up your bed up front, on top, and you can have a living space on the bottom floor, and with the double space, high ceiling, you get that wide area, which is more or less more breathing room for you during your relaxation days in your own space. This would be about 5 billion baht in terms of project value. It will be launched, I think, in the last week of June. I guess the team is trying to come up with 100 function, 100 lifestyle. So basically, what they mean is that there would be plenty of activities in the facilities that you can use. You name it, all those sports, all those running, all those lane, all those swimming pool, fitness, and maybe badminton court, or maybe even barbecue space on the high floor that you can go up and bring your friends and do barbecue on the top floor. Those are the kind of facilities that we will put out to the customers, and you can see that I guess you can take 5.3 billion baht divided by the total about 1.8 billion baht. You can see that the entry level to NIRVANA product has been brought down through this condominium. I guess since the inception, NIRVANA was built based on a very specific target, which is basically the segment that we call in real estate is the high-end segment. So there would be, I think, we feel that we left out some customer who might want to enjoy NIRVANA product, NIRVANA DNA. They cannot afford, let's say, NIRVANA Beyond or even NIRVANA Define, which is about 8 million baht townhouse. But this one is about 2 or 3 million baht condominium unit, double space, NIRVANA DNA. All those, the whole enchilada is put into this about 80 to 90 square meters. It's an opportunity for those who might appreciate NIRVANA product to be able to enter into our NIRVANA world. As for the administrative issues, I guess dividends is all done. Been paid last month already. The yield was about 3%. We have to retain some cash to roll out the new project as we mentioned. So dividend is about 3%, which is I think hopefully is more acceptable for the shareholder base that we have. More importantly, probably is the name change. NIRVANA Dai was our name when NIRVANA entered into the stock exchange, I would say. NIRVANA, originally we were called NIRVANA Development already prior to listing. It's a pure development company. But M&A in 2017 when it was finalized, early 2017, we do an M&A with a listed company, Dai Group. So after the M&A, we changed Dai Group into NIRVANA Dai. But now the change back to the NIRVANA Development name is basically we want to send the signal back to the market that we want to refocus in development. If you follow NIRVANA closely, you would see that asset base is very, very much in qualities, high potential. But the pandemic slowed us down for almost 3 years. We were not able to utilize those asset base. In conjunction with this name change, in conjunction with the business direction that we want to launch 9 new projects in 1 year, highest in our history, is basically the same message that we want to send to the investment communities that we want to come back and focus on development. The capacities that we have coming through Dai Group would be used to support ourselves in terms of development more than we use the extra capacities to provide service to the others as we might have been in the past, say, 5 years.
This section has come to an end. So on behalf of the Stock Exchange of Thailand, I would like to thank you investors and corporate for joining the conference. We look forward to welcome you all again in the next quarter. Thank you very much and have a good day. ขอบคุณนะคะ
Thank you so much. Goodbye.